has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
All right, here we go. The Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview show. That's right, the 125th Open, which will be at Oakmont this week. We have got you covered with our entire Golf Wednesday crew to get you ready for the tournament. Of course, the 10th time they're going to be at Oakmont. We've got a lot to cover. We've got outrights. We've got Scotty. We've got props. We've got crazy bets. We've got everything you want to get you ready for the U.S. Open. Mike Carver here with you, and I think it's the first time, at least I have, I know on the coast-to-coast side of things, I mean, the quadruple box to get things going. Let's introduce all of the participants here for our preview special. Of course, we have Brady Kannon, Las Vegas golfer. You see him right here on SportsGrid. We've got him with us. The Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, Toronto, Canada, getting us ready after the RBC Canadian Open. Nice win by Ryan Crazy Like a Fox.
And you.
And from Oakmont right now, read the lines, Keith Stewart. Guys, it's great to see you all. It's all our entire Golf Wednesday crew as we get ready to get things cooking. Why don't we start things off, since Keith is there and he's on the grounds now. Keith, it's great to see you, my man. Thanks for being with us. Give us the first feel of what it's like at the U.S. Open here, the 125th edition.
Mike, Cam, Brady, fantastic to be with all of you. Preview the carnage that's about to take place out here at Oakmont. Not Oakmont, it's Oakmont. It's been raining out here like it has all over the East Coast. And I tell you what, guys, it's pretty soft. We have to factor all that in when it comes to the conditions this week. But it's a pleasure to be with all you guys.
Wow, and you know, Keith, I always, it's like when we talk on Golf Wednesdays, it's always, what's the weather? And like you see me always get a little, so since you had to go and open the door so early with this, is it going to be like that all week? I know we're still early in the week here, it's the preview show, but what's Thursday, Friday, long-term forecast for what it's going to be there?
Monday night, we're going to get some rain. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, things look pretty good. The sun's going to be out. We're going to get a little west wind. Should dry things out a little bit. But then Friday into Saturday, it's going to be like 2016 all over again. If you guys don't remember, they had to finish the third round on Sunday morning when Shane Lowry took that 4-shot lead. So the fact of the matter is the USGA's got their hands full. Walking around here this morning, it's soft. It's definitely soft, guys. Now, they keep rolling those greens. So much like Quail Hollow, there's going to be some bounce when the guys are hitting shots in. But everywhere else where the fans are walking, where those drives are landing, it's receptive. It's been soft, and we're going to get more rain this week before the tournament even gets started.
Wow, we always love to hear lots of wet weather at these big major tournaments. It's always fun for everybody that's involved. Brady, we'll go to you next here. Of course, we said the 10th time that they're going to be at Oakmont. You're one of the best at the biz when it comes to comparative courses, course history, things like that. What are you getting ready for here as they're going to get going at Oakmont?
Well, I'm really excited, Mike. And first of all, it is great to get the four of us together. That is really awesome. And I'm happy to be a part of it here for the 125th edition of the United States Open Championship. And where a better place to be than Oakmont? It seems with today's game, we're looking for that course that should really push these players to the brink. And I think this is about one of the few courses in the world that can possibly do it. As far as comparative courses, it's not really similar in layout or design, but I think it will play in difficulty as far as the greens, the sloping, the canting of the fairways. I think you can compare it to Augusta. I mean, is there any other golf course that has greens that are so large and run so fast on the stip meter? I think Oakmont and Augusta are similar in that sense. You also have the angles and the slopes and the uneven lies that you're going to find in the fairways. Very little room off the tee. That's certainly different than Augusta, but very few even lies when you even find the fairway. So I think that is similar to Augusta. Oak Hill, Bay Hill, Bethpage Black. I mean, I think at some point you just have to look at very difficult golf courses and also traditional U.S. Open sites, Torrey Pines, Winged Foot. I think the formula in the end is going to be very similar to what we're used to for this national championship, and that's find fairways and greens. That's been a formula for 100 years. Find fairways and greens. This week, I think total driving is of the utmost importance. Greens in regulation will be incredibly important. And then finally putting, because like I say, it's similar to Augusta, the speed of these greens, how big they are, avoiding three putts. That's where I'm starting my research, Michael.
The Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, of course, another Golf Wednesday staple that's here with us on the preview show. Cam, I know you've been waiting for this one, getting all lathered up. What are you looking forward to this week at Oakmont?
I'm just looking for a winner like you, Carver. You're hotter than hell, having both guys in the playoffs at the Canadian Open. What a cap. Riding crazy like a fox. Congratulations. But you know what? Brady brought it up. If it's going to play soft, and Keith talked about it, we need guys who are going to murder the ball. We need great wedge play. And, for the chalk, I'm looking at Bryson DeChambeau. Despite winning in 2024, he murders the ball. But what has his weakness been? It's been his wedge play. But I think he's going to be a lot better. Brady talked about three-putt avoidance. He's one of those guys, and you're getting a price at 9-1 with him, which I think is pretty damn good. But, we'll talk about Scheffler. We'll talk about his odds. And I'll tell you one thing, and Keith brought it up before we started, we'll probably get him, if not in contention, at his starting price. But, Carver, you've been on fire, and usually the big boys. We only have probably 5 to 10 guys that are, like, real legit chances to win this thing. Maybe one surprise, but I can't wait. A war of attrition at the U.S. Open.
Well, you make a great point, Cam, and we all know this, and that's what I think makes these majors difficult now is let's look at the last 2 years. I mean, we've gone what? Scotty, Xander, Bryson, Xander, Rory, Scotty. I mean,
exactly.
I don't see no Brian Harmons and Wyndham Clarks here the last 6 majors, right, Keith? I mean, we are looking at the top of the top from majors over the last year and a half.
Mike, we have champagne problems when it comes to this, right? The USGA most likely is going to end up with one of the big 5. So you know who we're talking about, Bryson. We're talking about Scotty, of course, Rory. And then, I'm going to throw in Rahm and Xander. One of those 5 guys is most likely going to win this event. You just look over the course of history. When you come to this place, Johnny Miller wins, Jack Nicklaus wins, DJ wins when he was at the height of his power. I expect another one of these guys near the top of the betting board to play very, very well. And you know what? They're all in great form. I mean, you look at Rahm, another top 10 at a live event. That's 19 in a row. I mean, are you kidding me? The guy, he's never finished outside the top 10 of a live event. Now, I know part of that field is nearly as strong as a PGA Tour event, but there's at least 10 guys in that field that are great every single week, and the guy has been super strong. Can Xander get back from the injury and to the point where he was when he won 2 major championships last year? That hasn't happened very often. A guy wins 2 majors in a year on 2 very different golf courses. That was kind of a cool thing. And then, of course, now we got back-to-back Rory and Scotty. I think the USGA has picked the perfect spot for number 125 on the 25th anniversary of Tiger in 2000. All this symmetry, it's going to be one of these big names.
And as we'll talk about when we get to our outrights, guys, because those guys are so strong at the top, you're getting guys like Justin Thomas in the 40s. I saw a site with Jordan Spieth at 70-1. You're getting some names that we're not used to a little bit further down the board. 30 seconds, Brady. There's some value with some guys. Cantlay, Oberg, others.
There's no doubt about it, Mike. And I've already landed on 5 plays. I started playing guys for the U.S. Open in January. And I think I've got 5 or 6 guys that could finish top 10. But like Keith alluded to, and I agree with, it's landing on that big name. I think other than the guys that I have, 60, 70, 100-1, it's a big boy that's probably in the neighborhood of 20-1 or less that is going to get this thing done.
It certainly is going to be very tough. All right, we're just getting going here. The Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview show. Mike Carver with you, Keith Stewart from Read the Line, Brady Kannon, Cam Stewart, the entire usual Golf Wednesday crew. We'll come back. Scotty Scheffler, a heavy favorite. What are we going to do with this guy? We'll talk about it next.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
And we are back. The Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview special. Mike Carver here with you, along with Cam Stewart, Brady Kannon, and Keith Stewart from Read the Line as we get you ready for the 125th United States Open at Oakmont this week, where I keep hearing, the stories get bigger and bigger by the hour. I heard Keith, and Keith probably has gotten there this morning. He's got to go walk around, do a little more. I heard the rough is up to, just past some people's belly buttons now, Keith. That's what I'm trying to get, that confirmation from you. It's like the tall tale. Everybody you hear a story from, the rough gets bigger and bigger this week.
Mike, when it really comes down to it, it's not so much that the rough is tall. The rough is just going to be tall. It's a U.S. Open. It's tall at venues when we have PGA championships. We see fescue grasses over in the Open Championship. The issue is that it has been wet here for weeks, right? They've gotten over 4 inches of rain in the month of May. So it is dense. It is thick. You could cut it at 3 inches, and it's going to be very difficult to deal with. And the thing is that everyone's like, well, I'm going to take the bombers that hit it 30 yards offline because that's better than being 10 yards offline. I mean, I just don't see it. Everywhere everyone's walking, it is like a big nappy mess. It's gross, and if you get into these places and you're not playing from the fairway or the first cut, then you have zero chance of hitting these greens and holding them. So for everyone, yes, it's around 5 inches now. It's going to continue to grow for the week. It is as healthy and as dense as it can be. So if you're looking at bombers, that's great. But if you don't get yourself a good Jim Furyk who can put the ball in the fairway, then there's no way that you're going to build out a full card that's going to be profitable.
No doubt about that. All right, let's talk about the guy who is at the top of all the boards. Really doesn't matter what market you want to look at. There's going to be one name that's going to be at the top of it, and that, of course, is Scottie Scheffler, who is coming off winning his third major at the PGA last month. Now he comes into Oakmont. He's been playing unbelievable golf after a slow start to the year. He has been on fire. You get him on the outright board right now. I've seen plus 260s all the way to plus 300s everywhere. You see an outright of plus 280 on our board here. Minus 150 top 5, minus 340 top 10, 10-1 for first round leader, plus 160 for top American. There are several other things out there as well that you can go after with him. So I guess, we all usually talk on Golf Wednesdays, all of us, about how I'm not playing anyone under 10-1. I'm not going after this guy. I'm going to go after him. Well, we got to probably have to work him in some ways this week because he's so good. Cam, I'll start with you. Is there anything you're looking at with Scotty this week that's intriguing to you that can get him on your card?
Well, I was just talking to Keith Stewart and Brady about getting him a top 5 at like minus 120 range. That has changed. On your board, you see 150. I would consider that value too. Because this thing, Keith's saying like 180 on most spots right now. So you know he's going to be there. We can wait, though. This is different. You got Rahm. You got the live guys, whatever. And plus 280 in a major at Oakmont, not good enough. But if he's in the mix or a few holes back, we could probably get close to that number. But I think that top 5, if you can get it at $150 or under, why wouldn't you? That's a great price because you know Scheffler's going to be there. I actually think, hey, we bet baseball like that. We bet hockey like that. I would not do not the 180, but 150 and under. That seems pretty good value to me, fellas.
Yeah, Keith, we talk about this a lot. I always ask you how we gonna bet this guy, and you have come up with some creative ways recently to do it. Whether it's end of round 2 leader, end of round 3 leader. I know you've had a couple times with Scotty here in the past few weeks while he's been hot. And live is always important, as you mentioned, and that's looking at that board throughout the weekend, depending on where he is. Your thoughts on Scotty as we head into the Open?
Mike, we're going to have to be creative again. It just comes right down to it. And I've used Scotty pre-tournament as only a prop bet or some form of a placement like Cam was saying. For me, I look at that low USA bet at plus 160. There's great value at that. If we think he's going to win the whole thing and then he only has to beat, maybe 50% of the field who are American, maybe 60%. And then, I'll add a couple of Canadians, not to pick on you, Cam, the Prime Minister, but you could go low North American for plus 170. You could go Group A leader. Then he's got to beat the Big 5, which we all are kind of saying that we think he's going to do anyway. That's plus 110. You could take him top 10 in round 1 for plus 150. I mean, he's got to be in the top 10 for the first round. I mean, we think he's going to win the whole thing. So for me, I view it like a banker. I'm just looking for compounding interest when it comes to these props. And then when we've got about 27 holes to go, just like it was at the Memorial, that's when you start looking. And he's going to be around maybe a plus 100, maybe even minus 110. But, I mean, we play head-to-heads that way all the time. I love Cam's point about that. And I know Brady's thinking the same thing. We are going to be hitting that live board all day Saturday on moving day. And when he starts creeping up there more and more, if that number is anywhere between minus 200 and plus 200, there's great value in that bet. And then you hit him outright there.
Yeah, and Brady, that's the hardest thing, right? Because we know that it's going to take a lot to really move that number. The books are so scared of him going nuclear. Let's say he is 6 or 7 or 8 shots back on Saturday. They're so scared of him doing it that they really, Brady, don't give you much wiggle room or much value, right?
No, it'd probably still be the favorite if he's 6 shots off the pace on Saturday, right? No, he's you're never getting a juicy price typically on Scotty, but I think we're all making the same point here. I've been successful betting Scotty pre-tournament, but even more so successful betting him in game. And I learned my lesson. Keith and I talked about this prior to last year's U.S. Open. I was all in on Scotty at Pinehurst. I bet him at 3-1 or whatever the price was. He finished 40-something. So I've learned my lesson. I think the best way to treat this guy is what we're all talking about. Rather than betting him at a very short price with 4 rounds to go, bet him at a very short price, maybe even much shorter, with only 18 or 27 holes left to play. And you're basically making the same bet, but you take a lot of the guesswork out. Hey, you know what? A couple years ago, all joking aside, he got arrested. That bet didn't work out. So again, let's remove all that first few days of action and basically play him with 18 holes left to go at a similar price. That's how I have kind of evolved in my betting of Scotty Scheffler.
Can he get arrested
again? You never know,
again?
Brady. He could stroll into town. Pittsburgh's a place. I know they're a little outside of Pittsburgh, but maybe on Thursday or Friday night, strolls into Pittsburgh, takes a stop at the Super Bowl across from PPG Arena. You never know what could happen in a wild town like that as we move forward. We will come back. We have a lot more to do. The Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview show. Carver, Kannon, Stewart, and Stewart. Back after this.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do
But the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face, and after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We are back, the Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview show. Mike Carver here with you, Keith Stewart from Read the Line, Brady Kannon, Cam Stewart. We are all together here getting you ready for Oakmont this week, the 125th edition of the United States Open. All right, guys who could start fast. Now, I know first-round leader bets are not for everybody. We completely understand that. It is a very tough bet. It's a dicey bet. But some of us are nuts. Me and Cam in particular. Yeah. And we do love going after these things. Brady dips his toe in the water, too. Don't let Brady make you think he doesn't. I see him shaking his head there. He knows he gets involved also. Guys who could maybe start fast coming up on Thursday. We love Thursday Warriors. Cam, you love this stuff. Give me a couple guys you got your eye on maybe to start quick.
I already got a couple guys for you, Carver, and let's talk about this. Who always shows up on Thursday, also has a lot of skill sets that we like? Keegan Bradley, 75-1. I always like Keegan Bradley to come out of the gate hot. He's a notorious, very good starter on Thursdays and Fridays. I think the wet conditions will be fine. He gets it off the tee. It's about that putter. He looks fantastic to me. And my boy, Cam Young, 95. I'm all in with this guy. I don't know why I'm back on him, but I am. I have a feeling the Canadian Open, very, very close. He'll come out well and hot in this tournament. 95-1 for C. Young. I'm going with Cam, and I'm going with Keegan. Those are huge prices, Carver. And I know you, Carver. You'll have 7 or 8 guys once we do the show on Wednesday.
Well, you know, I can't control myself, but I will tell you, Cam, you bring up a name. I'm putting Cameron Forever Young, on my list this week as well, because I do like the way he played last week, and I know he's not going to win the tournament. So I think that Thursday might be the best way to play him. Keith, did you see enough in Cameron Young up in Canada that you're starting to feel like maybe he's coming out of some doldrums that he's been in?
Hey, with all due respect to the Prime Minister's name, no. All right, Mike, you're right. I think Cam Young I think he's much more of a longer play in the tournament. I think he needs to find his way in. For me, I mean, I'm still upset about Sunday. I know you guys are all, you're all celebrating, victory lapping, Ryan Fox. But the fact of the matter is that I had Sam Burns. So I'm feeling the burn. And I like inspired guys, right? So Sam Burns is the type of guy that around this place, We haven't talked about skill sets yet, but you better be able to roll the rock. And the guy's number one on tour. I know he wasn't in the first playoff hole, but he's number one on the tour, strokes gained putting. Sam Burns at 55-1 or plus 5,500 on Thursday to go out and shoot 3 or 4 under is a possibility in my mind. He's gaining in all 4 strokes gained categories, the major ones. And if anyone's inspired after what happened on Sunday, he could roll right into this thing. Don't forget, last year at Pinehurst, he finished top 10.
He did finish top 10 last year, and Mr. Burns, very unfortunate, a 5-footer. I mean, come on, Sammy. You got to be able to sink that in. Brady, I know you like to dip your toe in the water on Thursdays. You know you do. Come on, what do you got?
Well, you talked about it, probably the worst golf market you can bet into. There's a huge hold for the books in first round leader market. But yeah, at the same time, it's about the most fun bet you can make as well for a great sweat on a Thursday. Give me Denny McCarthy. Keith mentioned a name earlier, the quintessential U.S. Open prototype player, the Lee Janzen, the Payne Stewart, Jim Furyk. Last 2 editions of the U.S. Open at Oakmont, Jim Furyk has been runner-up. Give me a Jim Furyk type guy that can roll the rock, find fairways all day long, not the longest hitter in the world. That for me right now is Denny McCarthy. He's had some very good finishes at tough golf courses like the Memorial, like Torrey Pines. I think, he can get off to a hot start. And like Keith talked about as well, is there a better putter in the world than Denny McCarthy? Maybe not. So I'll take him for a shot on Thursday.
Yeah, I always love getting involved in a little dangerous Denny McCarthy as well. And there's another guy actually on my list too, 120-1 first-round leader. I can't understand why this guy always hangs around in these tough. Why is Matthew Pavon always around? It seems like, and he's right. Like Keith's laughing like it, but it's like we finally last year at the U.S. Open he was in the final pairing. Like. These tough courses, he's won at Torrey Pines. Like, he's always, these courses you're mentioning, Brady, he's always there. So you know what?
PGA Championship, he was good.
Yep.
Matthew Pavon. And that's the only tournament I think I've seen him on a leaderboard this year, Brady, was at that one. So 120-1 for Matthew Pavon, who seems to always hang around at tough places like this. I'm going to go and take a shot there. All right, we'll come back, and we will get into what do we think it takes to win here? Who do we like to win here? At least a couple of our picks. The Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview show. Mike Carver, Brady Kannon, Keith Stewart, Cam Stewart. We're back with you right after this.
Hey sports fans, here's a tip to keep in mind the next time you make your betting picks. According to research, home field advantage is no joke, especially in those playoffs. In the NBA and the NFL postseason, the home team typically has a 64% shot at victory. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, the Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play. every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back. The Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview special. Mike Carver here with you. Of course, the entire Golf Wednesday law firm of Carver, Brady Kannon, Keith, and Cam Stewart, getting you ready for Oakmont this week, the 125th edition of it all. All right, let's get to some guys that we like and some skills that it might take to get it done at this place. We will start, of course, with Keith Stewart from Read the Line. So, Keith, give me maybe one. You always give me Keith's keys on a Wednesday. I don't want you to give them all to me. I want to keep a little something for Golf Wednesday, but at least give me one big skill that you're looking at, and maybe after that a couple guys you're looking for with it.
Here's the thing, guys. How many times have we heard when you go to Augusta National, and I love that as a comp, Brady mentioned it earlier, but how many times when we go to Augusta National do you hear this is a second shot golf course? Well, there's a reason for that. There's no rough off the tee. Oakmont, we're not very familiar with this place. We've only been here 9 times before, and most times it's a different generation of golfer that's coming. But what I can assure you and what I've seen on the property is that this is a first shot golf course, because if you put your tee shot in trouble, then it is all about compounding interest. I talked about that before from a betting perspective, but that's how guys are going to make double bogeys here. I am looking at total driving. I want the guys that are the most accurate, yes, like a Jim Furyk, yes, like a Russell Henley, yes, like an Aaron Rai, but I also want the bombers, right? Like a Ludwig Oberg, or a John Rahm, or a Scotty Scheffler, or a Bryson, right? And I would love a careful combination of both. And when you start to look at the way I'm building out my outright card, there's a common theme there. All of the guys that I like, they put the ball in play the best on any tour all over the world. So I'm going to start at the top of the board. I think the guy, we all think that Scotty can win, but let's throw him to the side. And we don't need a without Scotty market, because the U.S. Open is one of those events that is the most luck related when it comes down to winning. So I'm going to go with John Rahm just in the pure market at plus 1,200. 19 straight top 10s. And if you look at his last couple major championships, he made top 7 at Troon from the bad wave. I mean, it was unbelievable how well he played. Masters T14, he was 8th at the PGA. He had a chance to win. And you know what? When it comes right down to it, Carver, this place has 168 bunkers. 168, right? John Rahm is excellent from the sand. I think it's a little bit of a secret sauce that we're going to love. And if you think about the ground game here, he's pretty good in Open Championships as well. The second guy at 3,500, I can't believe this guy is this high. Well, I can believe it because he's been off and on this year, but Ludwig Oberg, right? One of the best drivers in the world of the golf ball. Well, with 4 rounds in the 60s up at the RBC and a great closing round at Memorial, I think Ludwig is back. He's figured out the iron game, and that makes him a contender at a place like this with the way he drives the golf ball. And then the last guy, when we get to these difficult places where you've got to be able to drive the golf ball great, smooth swinging Harris English just rolls right in. And at 100 to 1, right, at plus 10,000, you got a guy that's 9 for 9, Carver, in U.S. Open cuts, right? 9 times he's teed it up, 9 times he's played the weekend. You look at Torrey Pines in 2001, well, he won there this year in the Farmers, but strike that. In 2021, he finished 3rd, right? At Wingfoot in 2020, he finished 4th. For me, he was 2nd at the PGA. Those are my 3 guys, and a lot of it is based on that first shot off the tee box.
A little Harry English this week out there at Oakmont. Everybody loves Harry this time of year. And you're right, Keith. He does play. He's a guy. He's going to be on my card as well in a couple of different places to get things done. Brady Kannon. Now Brady has been scoping the market for months. He's got a couple pretty good deep ones that he's had in his pocket for a while. Brady, what skill are you looking at here, and who do you got?
Basically identical to Keith. I think total driving, and I'll take it one step further to strokes gained ball striking, which is a combination of total driving and greens in regulation. And I agree, that's where you have to start here. And I've got 5 guys in my pocket that kind of fit that Jim Furyk mold. And I'm looking for that other type of player that Keith alluded to that fits more of the bomber, the John Rahm, the Ludwig Goldberg, the Scotty Scheffler, the DeChambeau, the Rory. I haven't gotten to that point in my card yet, but the 5 guys I do have on it right now are fairway finders that can putt at big prices, quintessential, prototypical U.S. Open type players. Find the fairway, find the green, and maybe get hot with the putter for a few days. And yeah, back in January, when he won at Torrey Pines, Harris English, I got him at 150. You know, everybody was kind of shocked when I took him at the PGA. Now everybody knows this guy is legit. And you're right, he's becoming a popular selection this week, and rightly so. I've got English at 150. The next bet I added when he finished 5th at Torrey Pines was Tommy Fleetwood. I've got him at 50. He's now in the 35 to 40 range. 40 is a good price. This guy, his best major has been the U.S. Open. A second at Shinnecock. I think he's been runner-up twice, if I recall, at the U.S. Open. But Tommy's that same type of guy, hitting the fairways, hitting the greens. And then I went to Sepp Straka. You know, just laser-like accuracy. Not really long, but he finds a fairway every time he tees it up. Great iron player, probably second in the world to Scotty with the irons right now. And we know he can get a hot putter, a 2-time winner on tour already this year. Russell Henley made my card at 70 to 1. You know, again, basically identical to Sepp Straka. They even both went to Georgia, a guy that finds fairways, hits greens, and can get hot with the putter. And then Denny McCarthy. I talked about him for a fast start on Thursday, 28th on the PGA Tour in first round scoring, a couple of top 5 finishes at the Memorial, 5th at Torrey Pines earlier this year. So Denny can play these tough golf courses very well, maybe the very best putter in the world. Those are the 5 I have on my card currently.
3 Bulldogs,
and I'm probably
Brady.
going to go the direction of Keith with a Rahm or an Oberg or something. I got to add that big dog at the top. But 5 so far as we sit here.
Are you getting a check from the University of Georgia there, Brady? That's 3 out of 5 Bulldogs.
That's right. You're right. Yeah.
And that 50 to 1 on Tommy Fleetwood, that's probably like the minimum number I would need to consider. To consider it with how much I've been burned. And so you got a good number on him, Brady. It's just I would need that to even – he's burned us. We've all had that happen to us with Tommy Fleetwood. We've been right there with him, and he hasn't been able to close the door for us. Good. I hope he happens for you this week, Brady. That's for sure. All right. Cam, what were you looking for this week? What's a skill that you've got and maybe a few guys you like?
He said it. First, you got to hit it big and long off the tee, setting up for a second shot. I have an issue with one. This guy has one problem. I'm taking him Carver at 9 to 1. Bryson DeChambeau is my chalk pick. The problem, wedge game between 50 and 70 yards, 152nd. That's not good enough for me, but I have a feeling he's going to be a lot better this week. The soft conditions are good for him. Can he roll the rock? Yes. And out of all those guys, I love him. I think this is his time. He's been close before. Rory beat him, but I'm telling you, that's my chalk play. Bryson DeChambeau, if he can finally get that wedge game going, I'm not worried about any other part of his game. Cantlay, probably better of a top 10, 20 play, but do you know? 12, 14, 14. Last 4 U.S. Opens inside the top 15, 45 to 1. You talked about it. What a great number. I found a 50. So instead of a 45, a 50 on Patrick Cantlay. Can he close the door? Very similar to Fleetwood, but I like his game. I think he's going to be sharp this week, and that number for me is good enough, Carver. You know, Cantlay's broken our heart too. He's kind of like Tommy Fleetwood. He's there, he's not there, but you know what? Top 20, definitely, but at 45, I got to put some money on him to win.
Yeah, I'm going to have Cantlay as well probably by the end of the week, because the thing that I'm looking at the most, and I know maybe you can't quantify it in a chart and a graph or looking up stats or anything, is I need guys who have showed me some toughness at really tough courses. That's really it for me. And I know that that's not, but it's just something you got to kind of look at hard courses, who plays well there. And you know that I love this guy and he's going to be there for me. And he hasn't done it on Sundays. He's had a lead here in the past, and that's the Irish Bear. I told Keith a few weeks ago I quit the Irish Bear, but I knew with Oakmont coming around the corner, I was going to have to get him back in the mix. 45 to 1 for Shane Lowry. Now, I saw a Shane Lowry end of third round leader at 35 to 1. And I think I'm going to play that as well because, as we all know, he's had some bad Sundays. Not just this year. At Oakmont last time, he's had some bad Sundays. So I might back it up there. And I'm with you on Ludwig Aubert if everybody's going to go eventually get them on their card. 35-1. This guy was in the low 20s, high teens a few weeks ago. You got to be kidding me. We're back. The Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview special right after this.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. This, I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8 seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face. It's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back. Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview special here. Mike Carver with you. Brady Kannon, Keith Stewart from Read the Line, Cam Stewart, all with us here. Before we get to the props, Keith, I was just kind of talking about toughness and guys who play well on really tough courses. You were mentioning the break demeanor. Am I right on this? Like, I know we can't chart it like we can second shots or things like that, but this is a real thing, right, Keith? Do guys talk about it out there?
Well, we joke about it in a number of different ways, Carver, whether it's guys that can close like a Cam Young with 7 runner-ups in his career, or it's course management, it's patience, it's all sorts of things. The guys that don't rush on a Thursday and Friday. I mean, all the pundits here in the media center at Oakmont, well, they were all there at Quail Hollow. Everyone was freaking out on Thursday when it was Vegas at Pavone and all of these guys. I said, yeah, man, just give it time. Give it time. The cream always rises to the top, especially when you have a golf course like here at Oakmont. These guys are going to play slow and steady wins this race. And there's no doubt that there's a strokes gain category that's attached to that has everything to do with patience. And those are the number 1 closers for sure.
Yeah, they certainly are. And you got to have that out there, and I think that's why maybe we've also seen these same guys now for a year and a half, the Scotties, Rory, Bryson, these are the guys that kind of have that little extra gear to them when they get to this point. All right, let's do some other props besides outrights. This could be whatever you guys want to do, whether it's placements, miss or make the cut, nationality, whatever you guys are feeling good on. Brady, we'll start with you. Give me a couple props.
Yeah, I went with a couple of guys to miss the cut, and one is no big surprise. That's Wyndham Clark, who's actually a favorite to miss the cut at -120. It's really, I think, since last year's Masters, not this year, but in 2024, the Masters, he did make the cut, but his game has really gone south ever since. He barely made the cut last week in Canada, almost finished DFL in that one last week. This guy does not have the game going right now and is wayward off the tee, too. We talked about the importance of being straight off the tee, not necessarily in the wheelhouse of Wyndham Clark right now. And speaking of wayward off the tee, big plus price. I'm going JT, Justin Thomas at +175 to miss the cut. 118th on tour as far as driving accuracy. We've seen this guy shoot 80 to open tournaments and come back with a 65, too volatile for me in the U.S. Open. He's played 10 U.S. Opens. 9 of those he's finished over par. So I don't know if this is his best major. I'll take JT to miss the cut at a nice price.
Wow, how about that?
Love it.
Little JT maybe going home at +175 for Brady. Good stuff. Cam, what do you got for me in a couple props?
You know what? Tommy Fleetwood's a guy that Brady has his on his card, and I thought about it. He's +120 for a top 20, but I'm going to go a little bit further with Fleetwood. You give me +340 for a top 10. Fleetwood, I know one thing. He'll drive the ball straight. He'll put it on the green. Can he hit some damn putts? That's the thing about Tommy Fleetwood. He might let you down in the winning formula, but for a top 10, that's a great price. And Justin Rose is the type of guy. Strong head, demeanor, happy with par. He's won a U.S. Open before. You want to give me him? A cool veteran at +370 for a top 20, I'm in. And Carver, I added one when these just came out. Thunder Bear, Torbjorn Olesen, top Dane, +250. Go Thunder Bear! Who's he got to beat? Norgard, right guard, this guard, whose guard? I don't care. Give me the Thunder Bear, +250.
Well, Keith, you got to top the Thunder Bear now, Keith. You got to come in with a little Thunder Bear action.
Oh, Keith's got stuff.
Cam, I can't believe we have the same last name. I mean, it couldn't be more perfect.
I know.
For sure.
I'm the black sheep of the Stewarts, Keith. You're the guy who's got it together. You don't worry about it.
I mean,
who do you got?
Hey, I'm the Cashmere of the Stewarts. I'm Cashmere Keith. But here's the thing. Hey, Brady, don't pick on JT too much. More than 1,300 players have played a U.S. Open here at Oakmont, and only 2% have finished under par. So I think JT over par, he may be okay. I don't know. I'm going to go with the placements, guys, and have some fun there. There's only 3 guys in this field that have teed it up more than 5 times in a U.S. Open and have not missed the cut. One of them is Cantley. Another one I've said is Harris English. And the third one is Xander Schauffele. I'm taking him for a top 10. You can get a good number on him. You keep shopping that all week, even with ties or without ties. However you feel about it, he's had 8 starts in the U.S. Open, and he's had 7 top 10. Top 20, I'm with you, Carver, the Irish Bear. There's something to be said that I only bet this guy on hard golf courses, and it doesn't get any harder than this. You can get a good positive number on him, and he led the tournament back in 2016 under soft conditions. We're going to see that again this week. And then top 40, all right.
Hey, come on, Keith. What are you talking about? I got Cam Young. You're messing with me now. Come on, Stewart.
You know what, Cam? I'm forever young. Forever young. All right? So the fact of the matter is, you guys, you've swayed me. The graphics team, they're quick. I'm going top 40 on Cam Young. I'm joining the team. I love this kid. On this Northeast POA, he has an advantage, right? He was good at Truist. He is always good up there at TPC River Highlands. Correct me if I'm wrong. He did shoot 59 there last year. It's the same type of grass on these greens. He could drive it straight like through a thimble. Guy works for the Highway Commission. I'm taking those 3 props and as many props as I can get on Scotty. That's what I'm doing.
I was there that day he shot the 59. I caught a couple of his holes on the back 9 over at TPC River Highlands for Cameron. Forever young. I got a couple here, too. You guys have brought up Harris English a lot. I didn't know you were going to bring up Harris English a lot, but top 10 for Harris English at +500.
Ooh,
I think he's a guy who's big, a little out there, +500, but I'm going for it. And I don't know if I'm being finally pulled in here. Or maybe I'm just believing after the T8 at the PGA Championship. But this Joaquin Niemann has to finally have a huge major. And maybe
Bill says he's the best. Best in the world.
The best player in the world.
He backdoored that T8 at the PGA Championship. But maybe that, starts to turn the wheels for him here. The guy wins on Live like every week. Like, he's got to have a little something going here. I'm taking a shot with Neiman top 10 at plus 230 to be one of the Live guys here who actually shows up. And you know I love Patrick Reed, too, as well at places like this. So a top 10 for Patrick Reed, I'll slide in to like to play him for 10 and the 20. All right, we'll come back. We've all got one a little wilder and crazier bet that we are going to give you before we get out of here. The Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview special. Carver, Kannon, Stewart & Stewart, the law firm. We're back on the grid right after this.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back. Ferrall Coast to Coast U.S. Open preview show right here with you on SportsGrid. Mike Carver here with you, of course, with the rest of all of the golf guys that you see all week long, every week on SportsGrid, always specifically usually on Golf Wednesdays. But we're always here for you all year, and I like that we all got together here to do this U.S. Open preview show. Imagine that, getting the 4 of us in one spot. To really get you set for Oakmont this week, the 125th offering. Brady Kannon, Cam Stewart, Keith Stewart from Read the Line as we go. So we got to leave here on a little bit of a bang, guys. We've given you a lot of bets, some outrights, props, things like that. How about one that maybe is a little bit off the wall? Maybe something that someone will go, are you serious? You got to be kidding me here. Or someone will go, whoa, that's a big bet. Let's all give us one wild prop for this week at Oakmont. And since it's the biggest number of the 4, I'll let Cam go first because he's got the biggest in terms of the size of the number. Cam, what's your one wild bet that you'll throw in there?
Keith Stewart says I've lost my stewardship because I must be nuts. I'm definitely not a steward, maybe an idiot. But I will tell you this. We got this guy top 20 and 40. Why not go all the way? It's a Harris English Forever Young show. I'm taking Cameron Forever Young to win the U.S. Open at 150 to 1. Giggle away, boys. Giggle away. That's from the late, great Brian Blessing. I love you, brother. And I'll tell you something, man. I'm on Cameron Young. He's been playing better. Maybe he can get it together. This guy went second at the Open Championship. Maybe some miracle. Maybe some genie in the bottle stuff from Forever Young. There's 150 to 1. Blow it up. Let's go, Carver. Am I crazy? Yes.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I found out we were doing this like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I didn't think we would say Cam Young's name once, let alone the amount of times that it has now been said in this 1 hour program. I can't believe
big
it.
underdog ticket right there.
It's stupid.
Brady, what you got for me, Brady? Give me one a little off the wall.
Okay, well, U.S. Open week is carnage week. This course is diabolical. It's the toughest golf course in the world in the history of time. Golf Armageddon. So most people are looking at what Angel Cabrera did in 2007, winning with a score of 5 over par. I'm looking at what DJ did in 2016, winning with a score of 4 under par. Conditions were soft that week, like Keith Stewart talked about. They're a little bit soft here this week. Some possible thunder showers in the forecast over the weekend as well. I'll take the winning score under 278.5, which translates into 1.5 under par. I think these guys are going lower than that. I talked to a very well-respected odds maker out here in Las Vegas who is starting his proposition bet at 2 under par, 2.5 under par, I should say, for his winning number. So I think under 1.5 under par, better than that, is a little bit of value. And we know how good these guys are. Give them a soft golf course, hit some greens, make some putts. I think you're seeing a winning score at maybe 3 or 4 under par this week.
Bet, Brady.
How about that? Keith, I got to admit, I saw yours, Keith, and I was like, oh, man, that would be spicy. Go ahead, Keith.
Well, you know what? Hey, Brady, you say a little soft out here. This is Oakmont, man. I'm telling you. That's like saying Cam Stewart's going to have a soft tab at the bar. I mean, it is wet. It is soft out here. Right? Guys, so what it really comes down to, right? I've had enough with the RBC Canadian Open. It's been stated. I had Sam Burns, right? And, hey, no offense, Cam, but the fact of the matter is that I saw all I needed to saw up there from Mr. McElroy, Mr. Masters. Yep. He is still down there at Rays Creek fishing or doing whatever Ballister was doing there. But he is just hanging out, and he has been on a mental vacation since that time. The guy is just not locked in. So when I saw a number to miss the cut at plus 300, that's what I'm doing. I'm going Rory to miss the cut for plus 300. I know he's had a billion straight top 10s here in the U.S. Open, but the fact of the matter is that the mail's out there, and he is just not picking it up from the box, right? I mean, I feel like we're not going to see him again until Bethpage. Be serious. Maybe Portrush, but he's going to be back home there. The guy had a lifelong goal just happen, and he's letting all the air out of the balloon. So for me, plus 300 on Rory to take another week off like he just did in Canada, figuring out the driver and everything else. I mean, guys, if he has to figure out the driver here of all places, good luck.
And I'll take minus 700 that he doesn't do any interviews if he does miss the cut at the end of the week also, Keith. Really fast for me. Look at this. Scotty Scheffler, 25 to 1 to have the best par 5 scoring all week long. I had to dig deep in the book to find this play. But you know what? If he's going to win the golf tournament this week, there's a good chance he plays the par 5s really well. So that's my last one there. What a job by Keith Stewart from Read the Line. Cam Stewart, Brady Kannon, Mike Carver, the U.S. Open preview show from Coast to Coast. Good luck at Oakmont.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. You could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.